Now, when we look at this idea of being related to the whole or coming into harmony with the whole, and that can be taken as a philosophical idea, but when we practically look at what it means, what we're looking at is that when we become alive to facts, when we become alive to what is happening, whatever that may be, this brings us into contact with what is. And this is what we mean by living in reality, or living in the world as is given. So the idea is that we're not related to the world directly unless we're alive to facts. That's a term that Swami Dayananda uses, being alive to facts. And when we're alive to facts, what it means is that we see it because it's there. However, he uses another phrase and he says, because we see it, it is there. This is suggestive of, for example, if I say it is a lousy day, I am seeing, you see, our thoughts don't just simply exist in our head, they are ways of seeing. And it's not the thought that's the problem, it's I am seeing today as a lousy day. It's not that I'm suffering from a thought that it's a lousy day. It's I am seeing a lousy day. And because I am seeing a lousy day, what happens is it is there. Now, when you look at it, if you're simply alive to the facts of the day, what it means is maybe it's just very, very hot and your body's sweating. That's just simply the fact. But it is a lousy day. That is a way of seeing that I'm involved with. And because I see it that way, it is there. So being alive to a fact, to facts as they are given, is entirely different than when I am seeing, I've got a way of seeing, and this way of seeing projects a world, or in this case a lousy day. This way of seeing projects a lousy day, and it's a product of myself. It's private, and it cuts me off from being alive to what actually is. So when we talk about being related to the whole, an interesting thing happens. When I'm alive to facts, I become an individual related to the whole who isn't reacting to things. It's just simply seeing things and seeing things as they are. Now, Swami Dayananda has a very interesting way of looking at this. He talks about, if you stick with facts, you put a full stop straight after the fact. So you say, I've lost my job, full stop. He said, don't add a comma. And a comma is like this: I've lost my job, a comma. Oh, this is terrible. This shouldn't be happening to me. How come other people are losing their jobs, but I'm not losing my job? Suddenly we've shifted from being alive to facts to living in a world of our own making. And this is a very important thing, especially in Vedanta, because only myself as an individual who is related to the world objectively, who is in relation to what is, a non-reacting individual, can do the Vedantic inquiry. Otherwise it's just not possible. So while I'm a reacting entity, and what that practically means is that when I'm reacting, I'm still seeing, I'm seeing in a certain way. The problem is that because I'm seeing that way, it is there. In other words, I'm looking at creations, if you like, mental creations that have been projected out and become experience for me, and I experience them as objective facts, when in fact they're not objective at all, but they are experienced as objective. So to be able to be related to the whole, I have to be alive to facts. In other words, not full of reactions. Because as soon as I become full of reactions, what I am seeing is not true. It's private. It's subjective. Think of a time when you get angry at someone and you think, oh, they're so annoying, and I wish they wouldn't do that, and I just can't put up with this anymore, and all of that type of thing. There's a kind of like a movie. It's like a reactive movie that's produced. Experience is produced out of that way of seeing, which cuts us off from what actually is happening. And so it's a very interesting exercise if we stick to facts, as Swami Dayananda suggests. I'm getting older. Fact. I've got more wrinkles. Fact. I've lost my job. Fact. It might be difficult to get another job. That's also a fact. So this acceptance of facts is the basis of living. And because how can we actually live and respond to the needs of the moment, to what the presenting moment actually needs, if we're not aware of it? If we're constantly seeing everything in the light of our desires and aversions, what happens is we're interpreting events in relation to these desires and aversions. Because I want success and I've just now failed, therefore I'm a complete and utter loser. Now, failing at endeavors is a common human experience. That's a fact. People fail to do things they want to do. However, when I go, I've failed at this event, therefore I'm a loser and I'm feeling bad about myself, or other people are doing this successfully, I wish I was like them, or I'm feeling envious about them, this is completely subjective. In other words, I am seeing, and because I'm seeing it that way, it is there. And so it's very, very important when we're talking about the psychology of the Gita. It really is a shift, a way of living which makes us alive to facts. And it's only when we're alive to what is actually happening can we respond to what is happening. Normally what we do, we're continually reacting to our projections that we experience as objective. And this is the problem, because when we experience as objective, we don't know that we're seeing in a distorted way, that we're caught in a subjective bubble. So to be able to practically shift from a subjective way of seeing the world, which stops us from being alive to facts, to shifting to an objective way of being in the world so that we are alive to facts. And when we're alive to facts, we are in the world as it is given. And this is vital for practically for everything: spirituality, everyday life, everything.